Hey guys, Anime Gypsy here with another One Piece review. And in case you guys haven't realized, those of you who are subscribed to my channel, that there is no One Piece live reaction, and there's a very good reason for this. I have been spoiled. For some reason, a lot of internet trolls decided to tweet and post spoilers on Facebook and Twitter, and it became unavoidable. And I ended up unfollowing a few pages, and that was that. But if you are watching this and you are a if you and you have a social media platform in which you discuss anime and you post anime related material, then please take note that by posting spoilers, you're just angering a bunch of people. I'm sure some people may like it, but give a warning first. Not above the actual spoiler, but like in the heading of your Facebook page, of your Twitter page, say that there will be spoilers on this page. Please take note, because I don't want to be randomly spoiled on material I want to review later on or do a live reaction to. No, and it's just distasteful in my perspective, and to everyone who likes to read the material as is and not indulge in spoilers. You're ruining their One Piece experience. Just leave a heads up later. It's not that hard to do. And I am guarantee you're going to have a lot of respect, and you're going to save yourself some time in terms of people that would later on dislike your channel or mean comments. So I'm just saying this right now. If you have a page on Facebook, on Twitter, please give spoiler warnings in the heading of your page and not right above the spoiler, because at this point it's too late. It's too late. Like, don't give a spoiler warning right above the spoiler because I've already seen the spoiler. Just put it on the page. That's all I have to say. So without further ado, this chapter has 7 parts in characterization and 7 parts in story progression, and we're going to start with characterization. Later on in the story progression section, I'm going to reveal to you what I think is the reason behind this chapter being called The Last Request. But first, let's discuss characterization, and the first up in characterization is Hyrudean. And the reason Hyrudean is up here in characterization is because from a abilities standpoint of characterization, we simply find out that he uses axes. And this is something that you were probably going to see him do in the final war and in the Elbaf arc, where this is most likely going to be focused on him using his axe. Not fully focused like he's the central character, but we're just probably going to see him later on using an axe. So, Hyrudean, the giant axe. So, second up in characterization is Raisin. And you're going to be like, wait, who? Raisin is actually one of the Charlotte family sons, and we don't really get that much information on him. In fact, he's just been like on the right or left side of the page throughout the arc. We really don't get much information on him, but this chapter we find out that Raisin is actually a reasonably intelligent guy, and the reason I'm saying this is because he was able to assess a situation thoroughly and come up with a hypothesis of a what-if scenario in which Luffy ends up hiding from Katakuri, and then at the last second, utilizing Burley would come out and escape and avoid Katakuri altogether. Guaranteed, like, that is not what's going on, but that's only because Raisin and the others don't have information relating to Straw Hat's personality, specifically the aspect in which he is how do I put this nicely? A dumbass. Basically a dumbass. Straw Hat Luffy is a dumbass. And since they don't know that Straw Hat Luffy is a dumbass, this hypothesis makes sense. So from that sort of standpoint, Raisin's elevated his status in my perspective because he was the person that came up with this idea. But maybe that was the case because we are led to believe, or we now know, that Oven isn't as intelligent as we were led to believe earlier, and maybe that's why Raisin is here, simply because Oven isn't smart enough to make this assessment. Therefore, there needs to be a plot tool to be used. So it's either that, or Raisin's role in the story might be elevated later on. And by the way, is it just me, or does Raisin's hair look like Madara's hair? Like, is it just me, or is that the case? Because like the first time I saw Raisins, I was like, is that Madara? Because the first time we've seen Raisin, we just see him from the side, where we just see like a bunch of his hair, and you just see like this part of his face, like this part of his face, and the rest of this is hair. And the first time I saw Raisin, I was like, is that Madara? Infinite Tsukuyomi. So that's something I just wanted to throw out there before going into the third point in characterization, which is Pudding. We have an understanding now that Pudding is very deeply emotionally tied with Sanji at the moment, which is something a lot of people weren't sure of, because they weren't sure that if Pudding was playing the role, or if Pudding was honest. I think by this point in time, it becomes abundantly clear where Pudding is who Pudding is loyal to, and this question of loyalty, basically, is she more loyal to Big Mom, or does her love for Sanji trump that? And I think, again, the only reason she really switched sides, and for me it somewhat makes sense, that it's childhood trauma built, because like childhood stuff really messes you up and really helps build who you are. So if you're traumatized from a young age to think a certain way about how you look or how you feel towards something, it's really hard to undo that. So when she, as a kid, has been traumatized by her mother and siblings, and then Sanji, first person saying, "Oh, your third eye looks beautiful," years of oppressive parental behavior just thrown in the garbage. Well, not thrown in the garbage. They're still there. They still have their toll, but it's kind of like a relief on a boiling on it's just cold water on like a blazing fire, basically. So it really does help soothe that situation where he touches on something very sensitive with her, and that's where her loyalties like just spin, and she basically comes up with a different, well, not she doesn't come up with a different personality, but that's where she changes her mind on Sanji. And I think I know what her request is, and I think I mentioned this, and her request does have to do with her love towards Sanji. I'm just going to say this, I do not think it's going to be that she wants to join the Straw Hats. No, that is not going to happen, at least not at this point in time. There is no way. We're already getting Jinbei for sure, and maybe Carrot. I really want Carrot to join. I've been advocating for Carrot ever since the Zou arc. I want Carrot to join. I want her to join. Now, number 4 and number 5, they're both together. It's Katakuri and Straw Hat Luffy. The amount of respect we see for them both is just astonishing. It really is. From the standpoint of Katakuri, him saying, well, you're seeing too much into the future, and him basically smiling while going down, and it's very manly. It shows Katakuri's side of respect towards Luffy, and Luffy covering Katakuri's mouth. He didn't use any words, but we all understood what that meant. And it's really appreciated, because at this point in time, they're I don't want to say rivals, because there's still a lot of animosity between them, but at the same time, they're not just your average enemies. They have a lot of respect for one another. And that is something that I think differentiates both of them from differentiates Katakuri from other One Piece villains. Because if you see someone like Akainu, Luffy has zero respect for Akainu. Just wants to kill the guy for killing Ace. If you see him towards Blackbeard, no respect for Blackbeard. Granted, Blackbeard is stronger, but no respect for Blackbeard. He killed Whitebeard. He's the person that turned Ace into the world government. No. Rob Lucci, no respect for Rob Lucci whatsoever. None. No. Crocodile? Oh, no. And I think the reason for this lies in the fact that if you step back and look at Katakuri, his intentions aren't as... He has a role to play. He's not like the person sitting in the back like, oh, all I want is money. He's like, no, I'm part of the Big Mom pirates. I am allied with her. Like basically my loyalties lie with her, and that's where it's different from other people that he has faced. You could argue that yes, Akainu is the same, has the same deal with the Marines, Aokiji same deal with the Marines, and so on and so forth. But the only other villain villain loosely I could possibly think of in One Piece that Luffy has that much respect for is Smoker, and that is it. That is it. I can't think of anyone else in which Luffy basically is has to fight basically, and has a lot of respect for. So it's nice to see a character like that from a pirate side. That's nice. Now, the sixth part of characterization is Montor, and it's been a disappointment really because I've been saying that Montor will have a big part to play in the final arc, but it just shows that he's a very cocky strategist, and that's not something I expected from him. This is the thing: Montor is the equivalent of Dr. Ichigaki from Yu Yu Hakusho. If you've watched Yu Yu Hakusho, you know who Dr. Ichigaki is. That's Montor. He only thinks of cold, calculated numbers, tactics, whatnot, and has no understanding of this. I don't want to say spiritual side, like the equivalent would be, hockey. He doesn't take that sort of energy into account, but rather he takes tactics and cold stuff like that. And the reason I'm saying this is because he discusses that even if Gold Roger were to have done this, he wouldn't stand a chance because of my tactical genius, and he doesn't take into account, oh, this guy's stronger. So from that sort of standpoint, he values numbers and strategies too much and doesn't concentrate on the individual, which is his weakness in strategy, but he's still a strategist. So it's something to still look, like, basically observe and keep in mind when you look at Montor. Is he's probably going to have a bigger role later on because he's the only strategist we've seen from Big Mom's side. But he's not as good as I initially thought, is basically what I'm saying. Number 7, in terms of characterization, is Peckham's. And this is the thing with Peckham's. Peckham's, he's always been a dilemma when it comes to who is he going to side with at the very end, the Minks or the Big Mom Pirates? Because we've seen him sway this way and we've seen him sway that way, and we're like, okay, which way are like, what's going on with you? And to see him finally side with the Straw Hats, but wearing that, I'm not sure if Peckham's will continue to serve Big Mom after this or if he's going to die. But the fact that Luffy called his name in the presence of Burley makes it kind of affirmative that we won't see Peckham's with Big Mom that much more. And it's kind of obvious who Peckham's is, even with that disguise. So it's not like he's tricking anyone. Now, how should I say this? Overall, from a character standpoint, we got some decent characterization for a lot of people, and it's pretty nice to see that much characterization and this much story progression. And in terms of story progression, the first point in story progression is, yes, the first point in story progression is Hyruddin, and the fact that he's now on some list. He is, I believe, a part of on the deserters list. So he's on a list of deserters, probably meaning that his bounty, he'll get a bounty. I don't think Hyruddin really had a bounty because he was working under a Shichibukai, and if you work under a Shichibukai, I believe your bounty's annulled, because that's the whole argument that we had with Fujitora and Law in front of Doflamingo, where is Straw Hat Luffy working for you or working with you? Because if he's working for you, then his bounty is annulled and I can't go after him. But if he's working with you, then that's a different story. And yeah, we're gonna get into some messy business. And yeah, the asteroid came, and yeah, good old fun in Dressrosa. Yes, what a wonderful and short arc. It was just so beautiful and majestic. Now, the second is Oven and Company, and the discussion of Oven is right there waiting for everyone, and they have gathered a lot of powers, and they begin to realize that at a certain period of time, Luffy will have to utilize Burley in order to get through the mirror, yada yada yada, and that's the second point of story progression. It's not that important. Sanji and Pudding, and this is where I will reveal to you what I think is going on. What I think is going on, it's pretty simple. I think that Pudding told Sanji, when you're done with all of this and Luffy becomes Pirate King, come back to me and let's actually get married. I know a lot of people are going, whoa, but that's the only thing I could think of. That's the only thing I could think of. And I think it's just going to be left like this, and we're going to be wondering what the request is, and we're just eventually going to forget about it, because One Piece runs for years. And then at the very end of One Piece, Sanji is going to show up to Pudding's to Pudding and be like, hey, Pudding, let's get married. And they're going to get married. And I don't necessarily want that, but if it happens, it's not the end of the world. I'll be okay with it, because at the end of the day, they're both chefs and they both suffered a lot of traumatic family trauma. They're very similar, but Pudding is at tsundere, like to the nth degree, and I don't think that would really mix. Now, Montor basically discussing that he's going to move ships around. That's the fourth point in story progression. And he's forming a strategy, and there's something going on with Montor and the ships. You know, the ships are maneuvering all over the place, searching for everybody. So that's number 4 in story progression. Number 5, Luffy versus Katakuri and what it means. Now, Luffy versus Katakuri, that ending was epic. That was some epic stuff. That was amazing. I really, really, really loved that. That was some good stuff. I really liked it. And I think it really does emphasize the strength Luffy has gained if he was able to go toe to toe with Katakuri the way he did. Granted, a lot of people complained because he didn't stand up the same way to Cracker and he needed outside assistance, but I would argue that Cracker was handicapped simply from the standpoint of him stabbing himself and also him not using the spear in the final part of the fight. So no, if you look at it from that angle, it semi makes sense, but not really. However, I think it's there to emphasize the strength Luffy has gained throughout this arc, and how he's an entirely different person, and how he has gained a power boost. Observation Haki is a power boost. It really is. Luffy is not the same Luffy that we saw in the beginning of Whole Cake Island and at the end of Zou. This Luffy is a different Luffy. That is basically what Oda is trying to say, and we're probably going to get similar transformations at the end of every single arc after this one, in order for us to, at the very end, see Luffy at Yonko level. And I'm not saying that Luffy's going to win every fight he's going to be in from now on. In fact, I guarantee you Luffy is going to lose in one of the next few arcs. Guaranteed. Because you need the whole, oh, I am weak and I need to build back up again type thing reaffirmed and re-implemented with Luffy. You need that. You really do. No matter what way you look at it, if we keep going with the same sort of story narrative in which Luffy beats the bad guy at the very end, it gets boring, and Oda knows that. Oda realized this at the end of at the beginning of CP at the beginning of the CP9 arc. Sorry, right before the CP9 arc. He realized that right before Enies Lobby, where Aokiji came in, destroys Luffy. Luffy comes up and he realizes, I've lost to Crocodile a few times. I've lost to Aokiji. I really, really, really need to step up my game. And then you see that later on in Sabaody Archipelago where Kizaru comes in. He's like, zoom! And you're like, oh no, they can't stand against that. And the Pacifista and Magellan and all that jazz. We're probably gonna get something similar in the New World, specifically in the New World, because it's been hyped this much, and Luffy hasn't seen an opponent he can't beat. Well, other than Katakuri, but that you know how that ended up. And you're gonna say, but wait, we're at like top commander of a Yonko. How much higher could you get? You could get to Yonko, yes. But I think there's some distance there where like very top tier, um, very top tier admiral level, starting well, top tier admiral level and very top tier Shichibukai level may be in that area. Mihawk may be in that gap between Katakuri and Yonko. Maybe. Mihawk may be in that gap. As well as people like Shiryu. Well, we know Shiryu for a fact is going to be in that gap because he's the top commander for Blackbeard. But basically the argument is Shiryu stronger than Katakuri? And ultimately, I think the answer would have to be yes. Because Blackbeard is set up to be one of the final villains of the series. And if we're going to fight him then, like way later, he has to be stronger than Katakuri. So there is still a distance when it comes to the strength Luffy needs to obtain, because I don't see Luffy beating Kaido. No. Like, he doesn't stand the ghost of a chance. Same goes for Big Mom, same goes for Prime Whitebeard, same goes for Blackbeard. No. Same goes for, Gensei Sakazuki. No. I don't see him punching a hole through Akainu just yet. So he still needs that sort of thing. And I think we left off at number 5 in terms of story progression. Number 6 is Capone, and, Prometheus is up there. And they're running, and good luck. That's all I'm going to say. He's in the bind to throw the cake. Who knows what's going to happen there? So that's a point in story progression, because Big Mom's catching up, and maybe she'll prematurely eat the cake before they reach Liquor Island. Who knows? And finally, number 7 is how much Burley has been a plot device throughout this entire arc. You need a way into the mirror world, in comes Burley. You need a way out of the mirror world, out comes Burley. Come on. She is a plot device of a character. That's what she is. She is the simple manifestation of the word plot device. That is Burley. That's all I have to say about the woman named Burley. And I guess this is it for the review. I know it's kind of long. I am sorry. I think I did this just to make up for the lack of a live reaction. I know this video is not the best, but if you like the video, please leave a like. And if you really like this video, you could subscribe, like right here. And until next time, guys, this is Anime Gypsy, and I'm out. See you guys later. Bye.